For more insight on the Blues, we welcome in now Blues TV analyst Darren Pang. Darren, it's so great to see you. It's officially a Sunday fun day now because when you're here, it's always a fun time and also a Blues game day with the Oilers in town. The Blues sitting at 8-3-2 heading into today's game. Panger, your thoughts on how they've really handled this tough stretch of games this past week, especially with players slowly returning the lineup and they're missing Braden Shin due to injury.
Yeah, Brooke, and it's great being on Blues Weekly again. And, we're really feeling like we're getting back into the hockey groove. The weather's changing. It's getting a little cooler. And the schedule is getting tougher. There's no question about that. So, clearly you miss a player like, Braden Shen. Even, your backup goaltender in Billy Husso. You're hoping that Oscar Sundqvist comes back. You had Ryan O'Reilly off for 4 days because of COVID. Brandon Saad, the same thing. Even when you look back at Buchnevich, who had some momentum going early and then had a 2-game suspension for a headbutt. So I think there were some trying times early. The game against Nashville had a fast-paced hockey game. It was a good hockey game. And I think the Blues did a good job getting a point out of that one. And then going into Carolina, Brooke, that was a fast hockey team last night. And they had played the night before, yet they didn't show any signs of slowing down. They used their third goaltender basically, and still they got a win. So I think the Blues learned a little bit of something from Carolina last night. And so if you're going to play a fast team last night, you might as well get ready for a really fast team again tonight with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and the Edmonton Oilers.
And Panger, kind of looking at some players who are really standing out through this tough stretch of games, even though it's been hard for him. And it seems like he comes up almost every single week right now. But Vladdy, it's hard not to bring up. Through 13 games, Tarasenko with 6 goals and 13 points, almost surpassing his goal total of 7 goals last season. I know that being healthier helps, but is there anything else that you could point to with his really bounce-back season that he's having right now?
Well, I think he had to come into this season not proving to his teammates that he was a great teammate because he has been. But the question, I think, honestly, coming into it, to be as transparent as possible, was how was it going to work after all that was said during the off season? And here he is, still a member of the St. Louis Blues. Well, I can tell you firsthand, he's worked real hard. He's been good on the forecheck. He's played a stronger game. This is as good as I've seen him play since probably the 2019 season. Especially down the stretch when the Blues won the Stanley Cup. So what are some of the differences? I think number one, Robert Thomas as his centerman has been a really, really good fit. You combine the speed of Robert Thomas and the playmaking and the entries into the offensive zone with puck control. And then you've got Tarasenko with the confidence that he has right now, proving that he's certainly deserves to be on the Olympic team, proving that he's a good teammate for the St. Louis Blues. And if things happen that he's not a member of the St. Louis Blues, that he wants to prove to everybody around the league that he's good to go and healthy. So 2 years on his existing contract, I mean, there's a lot of hockey left for Vladimir Tarasenko. And obviously it's thrilling watching him play and being the kind of player that he is, because this is quite frankly the kind of player that we've seen him for so many times as a St. Louis Blue.
And you already mentioned there, his line mate, Robert Thomas, also taking his game to the next level. Now, Panger, I thought this was interesting that both Doug Armstrong, the Blues general manager, and Craig Berube, the head coach, giving Thomas high praise this past week, saying that Thomas really put in the work this past summer, trying to prove that he can be a top 6 forward for this group. Also, I noticed taking a big step forward with faceoffs, winning 54% of them coming into tonight.
Well, he had to have a great offseason. And you remember he was a late signing as a restricted free agent. His buddy Jordan Kyrou agreed to an early deal, a 2-year deal worth $2.8 million a year. And Robert Thomas was kind of stuck in that negotiation. And once he got his deal done, I think his bottom line was to prove to everybody that his next contract was going to be a long-term contract, similar to a lot of the friends that he's played with, a lot of the guys that are his contemporaries, his peers. That have gotten long-term high-end deals. And Robert Thomas, to me, had to get really here from the offseason. He had to not shed a few pounds, but I think he had to make sure that he was a stronger player to get up and down the ice. If he's going to be a top 6 forward or a top 3 for the St. Louis Blues, if you're going to do that, you're going to have to do the little things that Ryan O'Reilly does every single night, which means you're going to have to be a real strong player. You're going to have to be determined on the faceoffs, which he improved. You're going to have to be able to battle in the defensive zone, which he's improved. And with all that, I mean, his skating ability has always been one of his great strengths, but his puck handling and seeing the ice and making plays, it's been exceptional. I would say that he's been one of the top young centermen around the entire NHL this season.
Well, Panger, you already mentioned there he needed to shed a little bit of weight. I feel like all of us might have needed to after the pandemic anyways. It's great to see him get in shape, but Panger, you're always in shape, so, it doesn't matter for you. But another standout player
I don't think so.
Another standout player so far this season, especially these past few games, is Jordan Kyrou. Heading in tonight, he leads the pack right now with 15 points through 13 games. Another player that is just really taking his game to the next level, incorporating that speed now with goals.
Interesting, Brooke, that the other day David Perron said that he's our Connor McDavid. And there are very few players from a standstill position that can explode like Jordan Kyrou can. If he's guilty of anything, it's probably that he tries to do so much on any given shift that sometimes he can overhandle the puck. But if that's the worst case scenario, then that's not too bad. He's a difference maker. He's a guy that wants the puck. He wants to be there when the game's on the line. And obviously his shooting has improved. His accuracy has improved. I remember just a couple of years ago, I kept thinking, boy, this guy's got to hit the net a little bit more. He hits the net, he's going to be in good shape. And well, now he's way more disciplined in that area. And it doesn't have to be the most perfect shot, but his hands are so quick and he's got such great ability that the goaltenders on the other team, they don't quite know him yet. They don't quite know how quick those hands are. And you're seeing with these replays just how hot he is and how quickly he can release the puck. So that's obviously great news. I'm looking forward to seeing a guy like Jordan Kyrou and Connor McDavid, and we saw him with Svechnikov and fast players like Aho last night and Teravainen. He's right there with every single one of the quick players in the National Hockey League, and that's a dynamic player. That's a dynamic duo, and I think as the year goes on too, Brooke, you expect your older players to be there and to be leaders, but let's face it, they're older players. They've been around the block. They need some help every once in a while, an injection of youthful enthusiasm, and I think Thomas and Kyrou have done a great job of that.
Tonight, Jordan Binnington will be between the pipes. In my opinion, the other night, he had one of his best games yet, by far this season against the Jets in the 3-2 shootout win. Binner with 39 saves. Head coach Craig Berube saying afterwards that Binner won the game for them. You know him very well, Panger. Chief just doesn't give out compliments like that.
No, he doesn't, but that was deservedly so. I mean, 39 of 42 in Winnipeg, a very difficult building to play in, but he excels, and he excelled in 2019. In that epic six-game series against the Winnipeg Jets, he was outstanding. They tried to throw everything at him that you could possibly throw at him between the fans and the players and the media, but all he did was keep coming up with big save after big save. So, one thing about Jordan Binnington is anytime you want to knock him down just a little bit, he gets just another layer of skin that gets a little bit tougher around him, and that's a great sign. He just has that ability to bounce back. He's got that ability that when you really, really need him the most, that he comes up with a big save. And I had a good conversation with him in Carolina because he wasn't playing, just about facing, the likes of Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. And, you could see he perks up. You could see that's an exciting challenge for him. It's not just goalie against Connor McDavid, but at the end of the day, when you're preparing for a game and you see number 97 get winding her up in the neutral zone, you know what you're getting, you know what you're facing. And so I'm looking forward to that because there's a great possibility that their teammates come the Winter Olympics representing Canada in February.
We'll have more from Panger after the break, but first, Thursday was the Blues' annual Salute to Military Night. They chose to honor the 13 service members killed in Afghanistan in August, one of which was Wentzville native Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz.
In Afghanistan hitting close to home. We have learned a Marine from Wentzville is one of the 13 service members killed by a suicide bomber at Kabul's airport.
He was known for his charismatic smile and personality, and then his infectious laugh. He spent his entire life taking care of people, watching out for people. This was a calling that would allow him to make a difference and help other people. Those that couldn't fight for themselves, he wanted to be part of that team that would make sure that they were looked after. You always wish you had additional conversations or more time. I mean, we all go through that, but I'd probably tell him how proud I was. And still am. We all remember September 11th and the one date that he and I always talked more about was September 12th, the day after, because there wasn't an American flag on the shelf. There was a unified country. If he was able to see what happened here on his homecoming on the 8th, it was like September 12th all over again. And that was to celebrate his homecoming and sacrifice he made for this country along with the other 12, that it means something to us.
Blues fans, please welcome to the ice the brothers and sisters of Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz. Now entering from the Blues bench for a ceremonial puck drop, please welcome Lance Corporal Schmitz's mother Sue, his father Mark, and his stepmother Jacqueline. Ladies and gentlemen, on August 26th, 13 American service members were tragically killed during an evacuation mission in Kabul, Afghanistan. Please join us now in a moment of silence as we honor the life of St. Louis native Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz. Thank you.